this team right here, I don't know what to say. That is just disgusting.
You know, it's frustrating knowing how much everybody cares and how much the group, put into it. We have the talent to do it. We've shown that.
I think we got some consistency after All-Star break. I mean, even before All-Star break, we got Otto in the trade.
Are the Chicago Bulls a bad investment? 6 championships, 2 three-peats, the best NBA duo of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. This was once the story of one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history.
Congratulations, Chicago. Congratulations, Chicago Bulls. They are the best in the world.
And in 2025, Forbes valued the Chicago Bulls at $5.8 billion, with a revenue of $402 million, making them the NBA's 4th most valuable franchise. But with declining attendance, mediocre performance, and mounting frustration from fans, one question emerges. Are the Chicago Bulls a bad investment? Today, we'll answer that.
That organization is bad right
now. It's bad.
In what way? Right. They have gave DeRozan, Levine,
and got nothing.
And Caruso.
And Caruso, and they had nothing.
1998, Michael Jordan's final shot in a Bulls jersey. That's our last memory of ever seeing the Bulls reach the NBA Finals.
We only dream about doing things that he can do.
Since that legendary shot, the Bulls haven't just failed to reach the finals, they've become a case study in mediocrity. Last season's 39-43 record tells only part of the story. This year, they're struggling, sitting below top 6 in the Eastern Conference. These numbers are painting a concerning picture, and the Bulls' playoff drought is becoming the norm rather than the exception. But before going ahead, kindly click on the subscribe button to make sure you do not miss out on the latest content.
Good job by Williams to keep that ball alive.
Levine the drive, the layup, it's good.
The post-Jordan era has been a masterclass in what not to do when rebuilding a dynasty. Since the turn of the millennium, the Bulls have wandered through a basketball desert, occasionally finding oases of hope that turn out to be nothing more than mirages. Their playoff appearances have become increasingly rare sightings, with their last meaningful postseason run now a distant memory from 2015. It's as if the basketball gods themselves decided that 6 championships in the 90s were enough glory for one franchise.
As a disconsolate Lenny Wilkins leaves the floor, and for the second time today, the
tongue comes out just in front of that line. Look at this, the double clutch, the reach.
The attempts to recapture the magic have read like a tragedy in 3 acts. First came the Baby Bulls era, full of promise but short on delivery. Then emerged Derrick Rose, Chicago's own son, whose MVP ascension seemed to herald a new dawn, until his knees betrayed both him and the city's dreams. The last chapter features the Vucevic gambit and the Levine-DeRozan experiment, moves that were supposed to launch the Bulls back into relevance, but instead have left fans wondering if the front office is playing chess while the rest of the league plays modern basketball.
a sensational finish.
Against Levine. Remember, Edwards leads the NBA in steals this year. It is DeRozan for 3.
The cruel irony, the Bulls haven't just struggled to attract superstar talent, they've become experts at finding ways to squander the talent they do acquire. Vucevic, an all-star center who dominated in Orlando, arrived in Chicago only to see his impact diluted in a system that never quite figured out how to maximize his skills. Levine and DeRozan, despite their highlight reel athleticism and improved shootings, became symbols of the league's larger identity crisis, capable of brilliant individual performances, but unable to translate them into meaningful team success.
Here's Dragic. Kicks it out. Open 3. Jones. Isaac. Late in the clock. Zach LaVine.
If the Chicago Bulls front office decisions over the last decade were a GPS system, it would constantly be recalculating. The organization that once wrote the blueprint for NBA excellence has somehow misplaced the instruction manual, leaving fans and analysts alike scratching their heads at a series of bewildering moves that seem to lead nowhere.
Chicago's going to need shooting. They're 28th in the league in three-point shooting. They need a shooter.
The Jimmy Butler trade of 2017 stands as one of the most painful chapters in this story of miscalculation. trading away a genuine superstar in his prime should yield franchise-altering returns.
Explain why this happened, okay? You had Jimmy Butler as the heart of your team. He's now gone.
Since I was a little kid, the GM, he couldn't get along with the star player. Oh, really? God, did Chicago get punched in their face? I would hate to be a Bulls fan today.
Instead, the Bulls ended up with basketball's equivalent of magic beans, a collection of promising but ultimately underwhelming assets that left the team treading water in the NBA's middle ground, too good for high draft picks but too mediocre for playoff success. But the real puzzle isn't just about individual moves, it's about identity. The Bulls have become basketball's equivalent of a midlife crisis, unable to decide whether they're rebuilding or contending. One day, they're trading for veterans like Vucevic, signaling a win-now mentality. The next, they're talking about youth development and future flexibility. It's a basketball philosophy that tries to serve two masters and ends up serving neither. This strategic whiplash has created a sort of organizational vertigo. Free agents look at Chicago with skepticism. After all, who wants to join a team that can't decide what it wants to be? Investors and sponsors, once drawn to the Bulls brand like moths to a flame, now see a franchise whose compass seems permanently stuck between rebuild and compete. Then there's the financial puzzle, where the Bulls have mastered the art of paying premium prices for diminishing returns. The Vucevic and Levine contracts, prior to being traded to the Kings, loomed over the franchise like storm clouds, eating up salary cap space that could have been used to reshape the roster. These aren't bad players by any means. They're simply expensive answers to questions the Bulls shouldn't be asking at this stage of their development.
It's time to rise. It's time to believe. It's showtime. Are you with us? Here we go.
The irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. The same organization that once represented the pinnacle of NBA excellence now seems to be writing a manual on how to maintain mediocrity. Each decision viewed in isolation might seem defensible, but together they paint a picture of a franchise that's lost its way, trying to navigate the modern NBA with an outdated map.
After 150 points allowed.
We're not out here just for the health. We gotta tighten it up.
For a team whose very logo symbolizes strength and direction, the Bulls have become masters of standing still while looking busy. Until they can answer the fundamental question of what kind of team they want to be, all the trades, signings, and draft picks in the world won't lead them back to relevance. The path forward requires something that seems to have been lost in the post-Jordan era: a clear vision of the future and the courage to pursue it, even if it means making some uncomfortable decisions along the way. Although in the heart of every Chicago fan, hope dies hard. Through these years of drought, glimmers of promise have emerged, suggesting that perhaps, just perhaps, the Bulls aren't destined to remain forever in the shadow of their golden age.
Everybody on this roster that does not have a future here should be getting shipped.
And those potential bright spots on the horizon, while today's Bulls might be struggling to find their footing, tomorrow's team is taking shape in ways that should make both fans and investors take notice. This isn't just another rebuild. It's potentially the dawn of a new era in Chicago basketball. The first signs of this transformation can be seen in the electric performances of young talents like Patrick Williams and Kobe White. These aren't just placeholder players waiting for stars to arrive. They're showing flashes of brilliance that hint at something bigger brewing in the Windy City. The raw material is there. It just needs to be shaped and refined.
Set to half. Williams ducking around a screen, and he makes it from the baseline. Called Michael Malone and said, "What is your guy doing?"
But the real chess moves are happening behind the scenes. The Bulls front office is carefully orchestrating what could be one of the most significant roster transformations in recent memory. The potential departure of Vucevic after the DeRozan and Levine ones, while painful in the short term, could be the key that unlocks the Bulls' future. Think of it as clearing the stage for the next act, one that promises to be more exciting than the last. Each potential move, from draft picks to veteran departures, fits into a larger puzzle. It's like watching a master chef gather ingredients for a feast. The individual elements might look promising, but it's how they'll come together that can make this team truly special. This isn't just about returning to relevance. It's about building a sustainable powerhouse that can compete in today's NBA while maintaining flexibility for tomorrow's challenges. For investors, This means betting on more than just basketball. It's betting on a vision of what the Bulls can become. The ghosts of championships past still echo through the United Center, but for the first time in years, they're being joined by whispers of what's to come. The Bulls aren't just planning for the future, they're cooking up something that can make the basketball world stand up and take notice. And for those willing to be patient, those willing to see beyond the current struggles, the rewards could be extraordinary. Beyond the hardwood, the Bulls' future looks equally bright from a business perspective. Few NBA franchises can match Chicago's market appeal. The team's iconic brand, built during the Jordan era, continues to resonate with basketball fans worldwide. This enduring popularity translates into packed arenas, robust merchandise sales, and lucrative local partnerships, providing the financial foundation needed to support this emerging young core.
That's 150 points tonight for the Timberwolves.
It's ridiculous.
If you followed the Bulls' journey as closely as we have, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What moves do you think the front office should prioritize? Which young players have caught your eye? Share your take in the comments. See you next time.
Now you know what time it is.
4/10 of a second remaining.
Slings it ahead for Zach LaVine. The catch and the slam.